Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode. This is our wife. I'll show you a picture. This old boy's up in the mountains, backpacking, and I miss things like that. You know, I used to backpack. This is lip smacking backpacking, and that's page 5, 6, 7. So that would be page 9. The picture's on page 9. Um, Roman numeral 9. I miss that. I mean, what can I say? I miss doing things like that. You know, the wilderness for me is it's beauty, it's peace, it's like my wife. It's like the wilderness is like my wife. It's beauty and peace and all that. And I can sit here and I can look over at my beautiful wife. But I mean, honestly, for people that are wilderness lovers, backpackers, canoers, kayakers, uh, mushers, whatever, I think you understand what I'm talking about. I mean, I guess it's like every trip was a favorite trip. When I went on the West Coast Trail up in Canada, I mean, you go days without seeing another human being. And to me, that is just pure peace. And when you do see another human being, about all you do is wave at them or acknowledge them somehow, but you don't stop and have a conversation with them. Sometimes you do, because sometimes you meet interesting people, but two of the trips that I would like to take, I don't know about backpacking. Honestly, I just don't know about backpacking it. Not at my age, because there are a lot of people much older than me that backpack, but health issues involved. But canoeing. There's now I forget the name of it, the Northwoods Trail. It goes from, I don't know if it starts in New York or Vermont, and it goes all the way into Maine. I don't want to take the whole trip. I just want to take the trip that's in New Hampshire, and I want to do the Connecticut River as well. Although I think the Northwoods Trail would actually be the one that would be most enjoyable, but I think it would be best to first do the Connecticut River just to get back in, get back into it, learn them, because there are different ways to paddle. There's the J stroke. There are different strokes, and each stroke does something different. Plus, it would be getting into shape. So by a couple of hours or so into the trip, I'm going to be in pain. And the thing is, with the Northwoods Trail, there is a lot of portaging, and some of that portaging is several miles long. So
there's different strokes for different boats.
Yeah, it would be a lot better just to go down the Connecticut. Even the Connecticut River has portaging. It's just they're not as frequent or as long. We've actually seen one of the portage trails when you go up to Claremont. I don't remember what town it is you go through, but
Hinsdale. They have signs along the road to Hinsdale. Remember?
Oh, in Hinsdale and in some town up before you get to Claremont, there's a dam in the middle of the river. So there's a portage trail. The thing is, it's not the shortest trail in the world. It starts some distance to the north. I don't know where the trail comes out, but I know where the trail goes back to the river. you really have to travel a ways, people. I mean, you really do. I'd say a good mile, and you're carrying your canoe and your kit. You know, so to me, it would be first thing I would do is probably I don't know what I would carry first, the kit or the canoe, but it would be one in the condition I'm in. I would probably take frequent long stops. So now getting a canoe. I haven't. This is as far as I've. This is see all that. I haven't looked through any of that yet. This is as far as I've gotten through the book. But look at that beautiful picture. I mean, if you can imagine being going up the to the South Rim and Big Bend, or the West Coast Trail, or any number of other trails, it's just peaceful out there. I mean, and you will see things you will never see. Even, I mean, our town isn't big, but we do have a significant road that goes through town. But even in these small towns, there are things you will see out there that you'll never see anywhere else.
Is this yours, honey?
Yes.
Okay.
Moose. My goodness, we saw moose. We saw whale. We saw bald eagles. We saw harbor seal. I don't remember what else we saw. There was an old lighthouse out there that's now an unmanned lighthouse. At the time, it was still manned, and they saw some tracks that they thought were mountain lion tracks, and so they made a sand pit, a sand trap as they called it, so that they could see the tracks better. And sure enough, there was a mountain lion going through the yard, so to speak. You know, and the interesting thing, they still had the old cable going out into the water where the ships, the lighthouse tenders, the ships would come in and then send a smaller boat in to the shore. That's what my daddy and granddaddy started. That's what my daddy started out doing up in Canada. Although he did it on the inside passage, not the outside passage. And my daddy and granddaddy did that on was it the Esquimalt? It was I think it was the Canadian ship Esquimalt, and they tended lighthouses. Although they didn't tend that lighthouse per se. I mean, they probably did at one point or another when they're, for whatever reason, you know, they tended the outer lighthouses, but they mostly worked the inside passage. I'm not talking about going up Mount Monadnock where there are going to be a ton of people. I'm talking about walking through the woods, and there may be a trail, but there ain't nobody out there for days. For days. I don't think most folks understand what kind of peace that is, and the beauty. I mean, take this old boy out of the picture, and that wilderness is just pure beauty. Not as beautiful as my wife, but it's beautiful. In Big Bend, they had bear boxes. They were steel boxes they had welded together, and then the front they had a double hinge, and they had a lock on them. Not a lock, it was a carbine, carabiner that you would put on there. But you had to use the ones that you screwed on, because it's like the bears figured out that the ones that I never used them, but I had them with me when I used to rock climb, and you just push in on them and then pull them up, or actually that would be to put the rope in, pull them out, you pull down. But
they're just there to aggravate the bears, basically.
yeah, because the bears' perfume, makeup, deodorant, lipstick, which would be makeup.
Idiots.
Yeah, anything. I mean, if there's a smell to it, bears find it.
Stupid.
Yeah. And the thing is, West Coast Trail up in Canada, that was both black and brown, and we never saw either one. Thank you, sweetie. So,
Bears are dumb.
yeah.
Why do you want a tube of lipstick, bear?
Yeah.
It's pretty.
So, I really want to get out there. The thing is, coming up with the money to buy a canoe.
Relax. Try to soak a
Oh,
little bit.
okay. I understand, sweetie. You need to. You need to, sweetie. Make sure it's nice and warm. And put some salt in there. So anyway, folks, yeah, I want to. I didn't get a canoe. We didn't get a canoe for our wedding, but those who've routinely seen my videos, you know how much I'd like one. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I fully understand that canoeing ain't the easiest thing, especially with a back like I have. But I could do it, I mean, it's not quite the same as backpacking. Backpacking actually takes every single muscle in your body. When I was a kid in high school, I canoed. Expert class canoer. Considering where we live, I ain't gotten out there and just walked through the woods. There are plenty of places up here I could just start walking, and I could just keep walking for a long time. I need to do that. I need to get out there, clear my head. Depending on where I went would depend if I took a gun or not, but probably wouldn't. Not unless I was practicing. Okay.
Out here for the kitty litter.
Practicing for bugging out, then I'd take a gun, but other than that, I go fishing though. I used to love fishing. I tell you, this is my only real fish story, except for the shark and I didn't catch it, and the hook in my finger. When I was in high school in Devereaux, I used to use a saltwater rod and reel, and I had a 50-pound test on that line. And I was over on this one side of the pond that I had rarely fished. And it was probably a good 10-15 feet worth of water lilies or whatever out from the shore into the water, into the pond. And I caught me this humongous catfish. At one point, he got up on the lilies and he went right back down. The tip of my pole, he busted it. The gears and the reel, he stripped them. The line eventually snapped. That's in a pond in Texas. A freshwater pond in Texas. Near the coastal bend that happened. And I bet you that old boy is still up in that water somewhere. They don't fish out there no more. But anyway, I really want to take this trip on the Connecticut River. If I do okay on that, then I'll take the North Woods trip. But anyway.